Hi everybody, Richard from SharpShootingUK here. Grey day in December in Scotland. But it stopped raining temporarily, so I'm here to talk to you today about some testing I've been doing in 2018 during my ballistics training days at SharpShootingUK on some exciting new mounts at different price points, premium mounts. So let's have a look at them. Now, I've long worked with Tier 1 on their wonderful products. I've been a development partner with them, feeding back to them. Let's get this focus right. There we go. And they are a very premium mount. Expensive, there are more expensive, but they're top of the tree, and I'll explain why shortly. But I'm always on the lookout for new things. I've been sent some mounts this year that haven't quite passed muster, and I've fed back to them. But I'm excited to say that I can recommend a new mount, and that is the very good value QD ADM, American Defense Manufacturing. They're the people who make the QD clamps on the Atlas bipods. They make a range of mounts. This is the Recon here. Let me show it to you off a scope because it's actually a little easier to see clearly. Here it is. Now, we get a nice little backdrop in here. Look at that, beautiful. So, what we've got here is a one-piece mount with tilt built in. And they go up to 30 MOA, which is useful for the long range stuff. They're available in all of the tube sizes, including 40. And what have we got here? Those beautiful QD clamps that we're used to on the Atlas bipods. And these guys I have tested hard, and they are true return to zero. And these things are £165 from Optics Warehouse. Now, they don't have a bubble. The hardware, the screws and such like, not in here, in the QD section, but in here, these will corrode. They're not titanium, and titanium adds expense. But I tell you what, for £165, what a premium mount and bargain this is. Bearing in mind that, of course, you can add in your own bubble, and solve the cant issue. Here's one of the elegant little Tier 1 ones. They're available in all the tube sizes as well, and you can orientate them any way you want, and they work the same. So, you know, add in a bit of money for one of them, you've got a good system here. It looks really cool too, I really like it. And this is a premium mount. You can see here that this one has got 20 minutes built into the base, and the QD is adjustable for the width of your rail to get it just so. Now that is a really good piece of kit for £165. There's also a solid version which I'll show you now. It'll weigh a bit more, but it's really nice, that really chunky. That's the long saddle version with 20 MOA built in QD. So for a little bit more, there's a solid version. This is 225, QD, repeatable, and I've tested that optically. You know, not just shooting some rough-ass groups and saying, yeah, it's about the same place. I've tested this optically to a single click. So you put this in the same slot of the rail, and you do these clamps up, and you're in the same hole. End of story. They're completely repeatable, which is pretty cool. So yeah, 225, that's a lot of mount for your money. I'd love to see a bubble on the back, but you know, that can be added in. The clamps, there's a big chunky tactical version which has got a little bit of an extra bearing surface on it. I'll show you that in a minute. And they are reversible, so you can have them lie where you want them. Reach forward version, clip that on and off your black gun, repeatable point of impact. Pretty cool. There's the tactical QD. You see how it's got a little extra chunk on the bottom there. But what's interesting is that in my testing, I found that you don't need to put these on stupid tight for them to return to zero. I'll show you how tight they need to be now. Okay, so when these do up, there's a little detent in them that keeps them secure, which you undo with your finger. You'll know that from Atlas bipods. They come in, they click there, and then there's a little bit more left there. Now, when you do these up tight, if you do them right up tight like that, especially this one, given that the gun's underneath, they can be quite fiddly to get in there and pull them out, given that you've done them really tight, bearing in mind that you've also got to press the release button and get them undone. And you've done them up really tight because you feel that you should, and they're quite difficult. I can assure you they do not need to be that tight. All you need to do is and you adjust them round here. It's the same on the Atlas, by the way. You adjust this nut here by undoing the QD to its loosest point, and then you push. You see how that nut comes out? You then turn that tighter or looser, and that will affect the clamping force here. So when you get that all tuned in, okay, to get this to return to 0, you just need to go like that. There we go, we're good. You don't have to be like, oh my God, you know, serious strength to push it in. It does not need to be that tight. And in fact, that reduces how fast the thing is to remove. It just needs to go in, nice bit of pressure, stop there, lovely. It doesn't need to be in here. It can be sitting out there. And then all you've got to do to release it is do that and tally-ho. Okay, so you don't need to murder these things, guys. There's a lot of clamping force here, and they're super consistent. In fact, to be honest, in my testing, I found that only one of these was actually needed for the POI to be accurate, which I thought was quite impressive. You've almost got 100% extra over what you actually need to return the rifle to 0, which was really interesting. I would personally replace the screws with some titanium screws, because that and the bubble is what separates things like the, let's have a look, what have we got here? Well, let's talk about this tier 1. This is a tier 1, and these have got titanium fittings, the very, very latest materials, the very best alloys, and they are a notch up. I wouldn't say they hold your scope any straighter, but with regard to the engineering here, this is really premium stuff. Not least the 5-axis CNC machines they use. So these are practically made in one single hit, and that means that the repeatability and the tolerance are completely sublime. Now, here's the news. The beautiful QDs that they have launched on their fantastic bipod, again with a little titanium release catch. You're going to get any corrosion on these. I left a set of these out in a Scottish winter. Look at this glorious sunshine here, mist, fog, monsters. I left one of these mounts, I think it was this very one actually, yeah it was. I left this out for the whole of last winter. It got buried in the snow for a month, and look at it, not an iota of corrosion. This really is premium stuff. So these are actually repeatable to 0, no problem. I tested that 100 times. It is just a matter of putting in the Torx bit and 4 Newton meters, and they're repeatable. But of course, toolless is always going to be attractive. So that's the short saddle 6-bolt. This is a Cerakoted long saddle 4-bolt version, and you can see here these beautiful QD mounts. Now they're completely corrosion proof, and I've tested the return to 0. Flawless. Again, they don't need to be Herculean tight. Just get them till they click and you're good, and then you can undo them with one hand. If you've got to get in there with a screwdriver, the whole lot's too tight. Okay, now this QD system is going to be available on their monolithic mounts and their tack rings. That'll be an interesting little package. Here's some tack rings here, tack rings here. tack rings. There's some 6-bolt tack rings. Brilliant little product, this. They're going to be QD as well in the new year. So go see them at the British Shooting Show and you can handle these things. They will be a bit more expensive, but it's not going to be stupid. These are absolutely beautiful bits of engineering. So's the ADM one. I mean, the ADM one, you know, was the one that, you know, people have used for years and trusted. You know, that deserves a great deal of respect. But Tier 1 have come out and with their first attempt, they've made a system just as good. Again, reversible, so you can line them up, you know, just how you want them, so that they're convenient for you out of the eject path or whatever you need. So yeah, really exciting that they are going to be coming out in QD shortly. And I've got to say, I've always had a soft spot for the tack rings. You've got more adjustability of where the mount goes, because obviously it's not fixed, it's two-piece. They're uber burly, they're great value. You've got a big old bubble on there, and if you now add into here, although these are already repeatable for point of impact, there's no two ways about that, but the convenience of, instead of having to undo 4 screws and torque them back up, the convenience of just flipping that lever, that will be a really, really exciting product. So yeah, that's the news. ADM are definitely on the map through Optics Warehouse, and a QD product range coming out from Tier 1 in the new year, which is really exciting. Quick plug for me, if you want to try these scopes and many others, got the Striker here, got the Kronos, another Striker. This is the very good value Rudolph 6-24 FFP, my recommendation under £1,000, with the multi-turn turret and the proper windage dial, which the Citron doesn't have. If you want to try these and the mounts, anything Tier 1, bipods, come on a training day with me at SharpShootingUK.com. There's lots of products that I have on permanent demo, only the best stuff. I don't bother with the run-of-the-mill, so that you can make good buying decisions while you're learning your ballistics and your app and reaching out there. Let's get this whiskey out of the way. What else can you do on a grey winter day in Scotland, eh? Right, okay chaps, I hope you find this interesting. I'm not going to say like and subscribe because I get so sick of YouTubers doing that, but please, if you have any comments and questions, fire me an email or a comment and I'll get back to you. Thanks for your time.